You are listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast with your host, licensed massage therapist, Kyle Pleasant. Here, we will be discussing topics on health and wellness, as well as self-improvement, and his experiences as a legally blind massage therapist. And now, here's your host, Kyle.
Hello, and once again, it is the Pleasant Spirit Podcast, and I'm your host, Kyle Pleasant. I chose Pleasant Spirit because, one, my last name is kind of I try and use that word pleasant in a lot of things, and then a lot of content that I have is, of a spiritual nature. And so when we're talking about mindfulness and self-improvement or whatever, I attribute having a pleasant spirit as being at peace or whatever. So today, my topic is going to be on, probably something like self-massage. That's what I was going to say. Self-massage. And it's interesting because right now as we are recording this, we're getting close to Halloween, and we're still kind of in the throes of this coronavirus pandemic. And whenever it first started, our state of Oregon had the state mandated shutdown, and so my practice was shut down for several months. And I had clients asking me, hey, when are you going to be open? And then what can I do, until I get a chance to see you again and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of throw in some tips here for anybody's out there that's still under quarantine or haven't had a massage in a while because they didn't want to get out there and risk getting anything, even with a mask. It can be risky situations. It took me months to get a haircut, and whenever the county or the state was saying, hey, you can go out and get a haircut, I was like, holy crap, so my hair was getting really long, so I really had to get a haircut there. But I wore my mask and was operating under the protocols just like I do at my own office here, and hopefully everybody else out there is doing the same. So anyway, whenever clients come in, I usually, whatever condition they have, I usually recommend certain stretches. The most common stretches that I recommend are doing some quad stretches, where you would take, you grab the front of your calf and you kind of pull it back towards your butt, and kind of give you the front part of your thigh a good stretch, and that helps open up those hip muscles to allow you to get a little bit more hip flexibility, which in my philosophy is that when the hips are able to move, everything else falls into place. Low back pain, neck pain, and any kind of knee pain is helped by making sure that you have good range of motion there on your hips. Another good stretch, especially for somebody that's plantar fasciitis, is to do a lunge, and that's basically where you put one foot, a bent kneed foot in front of you, and you just kind of lean forward on that, and then you take the other foot in the back, and you just kind of stretch it out to the farthest that you can go, and then just lean forward. And the intent behind that is to make sure that the back of your calf gets a really long stretch. It's really important to stretch out those calves, because typically people get plantar fasciitis on the bottom of their feet, because the tendons there are so stretched out, and they don't have any breathing room, especially if you have flat feet. that, like I do, that it starts getting inflammation there, and you want to be able to kind of stretch out the length of those entire muscles. And the length of those entire muscles, especially on the bottom of the foot, the tendons there go all the way to the back of the calf, almost all the way up to the knee, depending on which toe muscle there is. But having a good stretch on that calf helps on plantar fasciitis. And then the third one I do is a pec stretch, and that helps with any kind of shoulder range of motion issues, where you basically use a doorway where you bend your arm and you put the forearm on the outer side of the door frame, and then you turn away from the door frame and turn away from the door frame that the forearm is resting on, and that will give you a good stretch, there on the pec. And that pec muscle, especially somebody that sits at a desk all day, is having knee issues or shoulder issues or whatever, getting a really nice pec stretch and standing up straight is really good for your posture, and that tends to help with some of those kind of things. So the rest of it are some free or low cost tools that you can use at home that are really good. And probably some of them you've heard of, but we'll just throw out a few of them. So tennis balls, a lot of people are using a tennis ball, and what you can do is take that tennis ball and lay on it, and you can roll it up and down your spine and in the areas of your shoulder. It's really good to kind of roll up underneath that shoulder blade, and then, on your neck, and you can, take one on each side of the spine and kind of roll that up and down those neck muscles. And, also you can use it there on your glutes and legs and that IT band on the side of your thigh. A lot of people also use a roller to do the same kind of job, but if you want something a little bit more inexpensive, then you can use a tennis ball. And just so that the tennis ball doesn't roll around on you, you can put it in a sock, and in that way it doesn't slip off of you as easy whenever you're laying on it. So I mentioned plantar fasciitis earlier, and what you can do for that is you can freeze a water bottle and then use that water bottle underneath your foot and just roll your foot up and down, the bottoms of your feet to kind of help with that. And any other kind of inflammation that you have in the body, on your neck or shoulder or low back or glute or anything like that, you can do a water bottle that way too, especially if you're feeling a lot of pain. That's another episode about when to use heat and when you use cold ice. When you're in pain, you want to use ice, but whenever you just want to stretch a sore muscle, then you want to use heat. So that's the quick answer to that. So another one that I like to use, and you can get from the dollar store, is a pool noodle. And I had a teacher in school told me about that, where you just cut up a pool noodle and you lay that on your spine. And you're laying down, and you have that pool noodle in between the shoulder blades and the low back, and you kind of help stretch out those ligaments along the spine. And you can kind of roll that back and forth to kind of help stretch that out. That's always a good tool. And if you're a client of mine, I usually hand these things out. So if you're in the neighborhood and you need a little tool there, just come on by. I cut up a pool noodle for you. So let's see what else. We have some, like I say, a pool noodle, a water bottle, and then I did mention the rollers, where you have some expensive rollers that you can get like on Amazon, and everything I'm talking about I can definitely put in the show notes there. I have an Amazon store there that you can like pick some of that stuff up or whatever. But a foam roller is really good. Just works kind of like the tennis ball, and then you can kind of roll it up and down on your thighs and your back and your neck and things like that. And they have a client told me about one that vibrates as well. And I'm a big proponent of vibration whenever I'm doing strokes. Whenever you use kind of a shaking motion or a vibration motion, then you can help loosen up those fibers in wherever the tension or the stagnation is. So I like to use vibration. So whenever you get a roller, with the pressure and some vibration on it, then you got a win-win situation there. So, and I don't know, a Theracane. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of a Theracane, but somebody told me about that I thought was a really good tool that I got to try out. And that is basically, it looks like a cane, but it's got little points on the end and in the middle of it. And you can take that and put it over your shoulder, because you can't, some people can't reach, and unless you're a yoga instructor or something, you can't like reach in the back of your back and rub a particular muscle or that's sore. So you can get this cane, which allows you the opportunity to kind of throw it over your shoulder and push into a particular spot on your back or your glute that you wouldn't be able to reach, and kind of give it a nice little pull and push into those trigger points. So I would definitely recommend something like that if you can't get your significant other to give you a back rub or something. That the Theracane's a really nice tool to use for stuff like that. And some other things that are maybe a little bit more expensive, have a little bit more cost to it, but are definitely beneficial, is an inversion table. I've had several clients recommend and ask me about an inversion table, and I think an inversion table is a pretty neat tool because it allows the opportunity to get some space in between the vertebral discs that are on your back. Because those discs are kind of a gel, and basically whenever you're walking every day, whenever you get older, you get a little bit shorter each day, and it's because those discs kind of get squished from walking and being upright all the time. So having an inversion table allows to get some space in between those discs and maybe even make you a little taller. So but I would definitely be careful with an inversion table, because you want to kind of train your body to be in that position, and so it takes time. So maybe if you do get one, try it 5 minutes a day, and then you can graduate to 10-15 minutes or whatever. And I wouldn't go completely inverted immediately either. Do like a 45-degree angle, then a 60-degree angle. Just allow your body to get used to being upside down, because you're getting a lot of blood flow to the brain, and we definitely don't want to shock our systems and make you dizzy and lightheaded and sick and all that sort of stuff. So definitely use an inversion table with care and follow the instructions pretty carefully. Another one I didn't mention is if you don't have a pool noodle or a tennis ball, then you can also use a rolled up towel, a really tightly rolled up towel, and you can use those the same way. You can, lay on a rolled up towel and put it along your spine and kind of open up those shoulder blades and those ligaments in the spine. That's definitely a good tool to use. Anyways, those are some things that you can do at home in between your massages. Some people, get a massage once a month, and I've had clients, come every 3 months or whatever, but they want to know, what are some things that we can, what are some things that we could use in order to, get us from massage session to massage session, because you can't get it unless you're Bob Hope. You can't really get a massage every single day. Anyway, so that's gonna do it for massage. I have been doing, a lot of more self-improvement-y spiritual podcasts here lately, so I'm glad to squeeze in there a massage episode. And as always, you can subscribe to the podcast, whatever platform you're using, like Apple Podcast or Spreaker or whatever they're called, I don't know, and or even YouTube. So subscribe and share all the good stuff. And of course, if you have any other massage tool tips or show ideas, you can reach me at podcast@pleasantspirit.com. And of course, check out pleasantspirit.com for any other health and wellness products that you might consider. And until next time, have a pleasant day and be well.
Thank you for listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast. We hope you found today's show informative. Please take a moment to write a review. And if you want to reach out or have show ideas, you can email at podcast@pleasantspirit.com. You can also visit his website at pleasantspirit.com. If you are in the Portland, Oregon area, you can schedule a massage or one of his coaching services at pleasanttouchmassage.com. See you next time, and always be well.